Welcome to KOIN Conversations. I am Brenna Green. We are here in the KOIN Convo studio right now, and today we are talking all things Beaver baseball as they prepare for their season to begin this week on February what? I think it's 13th that they start. So, in surprise Arizona, we are going to bring in the Oregon State, or I guess I should say, the college sports writer for the Portland Tribune. His name is Isaac Streeter. Isaac, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you've been down in Corvallis, and I know you love some college baseball. So, thanks for chopping it up with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. First of all, like I said, you've been down in Corvallis. So what is the vibe like down there right now?
The vibe's positive. I think it's a lot of fans of the institution are really excited to put the fall and that mess of a football season behind them. Men's basketball isn't in an especially great place at the moment either. So I think people are excited just to get back to a sport where the program's had a tremendous amount of success historically and kind of in the past 5 years as well.
Let's just get into it with this team because there is definitely a headline when it comes to this team, and it is the pitching staff. What makes them so highly rated? It's not hyperbole to say that they are either one of the best or the best returning pitching staff in the country.
Yeah, I mean, it starts at the top and two guys. You got the right-handed Dax Whitney, who's going to anchor Friday starts for them this year, and then the left-hander Ethan Kleinschmidt, a local product from Mount Angel, who will pitch on Saturdays for them. Both enter the year as pretty much unanimous preseason All-Americans and are, Oregon State's the only staff in the country that has two starters on any preseason All-American lists. Most of them have one, some have one and a reliever, but they're the only with two frontline starters on these preseason lists. And that's kind of the surface level of it. When you dig a little bit deeper, it's a program that under pitching coach Rich Dorman has just blended high level scouting and high level talent evaluation with super premium facilities and pretty cutting edge data and player development stuff on that side. So it's a microcosm for, you said it, potentially one of the best staffs in America.
Okay, so we know who the Friday and Saturday starters are going to be. At least I think it's pretty certain. Let's put it this way. It's going to be Whitney on Friday, Kleinschmidt on Saturday. Who do you think is going to end up starting on Sunday for this team?
As it stands right now in my conversations with kind of the staff, it seems like Sunday is still fairly an open competition for them. They've got a couple arms working for it. Eric Segura, who pitched out of the bullpen last year, but was their Sunday starter in 2024. Zach Kamatz, who's the younger brother of uh, Jacob Kamatz. Apologies, forgot his first name for a moment. Sorry, Jacob, if you're listening. Zach, his younger brother, is entering into his sophomore year after a pretty solid campaign as a freshman last year out of the pen. He'll be in the mix for that job. But my pick for kind of that spot is going to be Wyatt Queen. He's a junior right-hander who handled five midweek starts for them, made 21 appearances overall. He's had a really strong fall from what I've heard, and I got to see him pitch last weekend in a scrimmage on Saturday, and just struck out five of the first six batters he faced. That says a lot, and he'll be my pick to start on Sundays.
As you mentioned, a lot of returners on this pitching staff, but they do have some new transfers in as well that they are going to be expecting a lot from. Of the transfers, who's your favorite to kind of make an impact on Beaver Nation this year?
Yeah, they like you said, they brought in a bunch of guys. They've continued their junior college development pipeline from Lynn Benton Community College, bringing in a guy named Connor Mendez, a former D2 standout. They also added Noah Scott from Iowa Western Community College, the same place they got their second baseman AJ Singer last year. But the guy I'm looking forward to the most is Albert Robles. He's a right-hander from Long Beach. He benefited from the Pavia waiver. He's on his fifth year of college baseball. But came here out of the transfer portal for his final run at college baseball and just has a devastating fastball. He's pulling pretty crazy underlying metrics on it. It's going to sit in the mid to low 90s, pairs it with a couple of other really impressive offerings. But the fastball is the main draw. And, just from talking to players on the staff and coaches, it sounds like he's going to be a legit arm for them out of the back end, even if he isn't the quote unquote closer every night.
All right, let's head to the position players because this is an entirely different prospect than the pitching staff. What are your thoughts on just the position players group as a whole coming into this season?
Yeah, I get a lot of thoughts on them currently, but overall, I think they're kind of hard to evaluate, especially when we already know the baseline of how good the staff is. Watching this team scrimmage against, their own pitching staff makes it kind of a difficult evaluation as it currently stands. But the simple fact of the matter is they have to replace 70% of their at-bats from last year. It's a lot. I think a lot of Oregon State fans have been spoiled to how good the apologies, how good this lineup has been over the past couple of years. They've had a first round pick in each of the last two drafts, and I believe it's seven guys going the top 100 over the past couple of years in the Major League Draft. So, um, it's a lineup that's bringing in a lot of new talent kind of everywhere, but they still have pretty key anchors and guys like first baseman Jacob Craig, second baseman AJ Singer, and then in right field, Easton Tall, also a senior.
Yeah, it definitely seems this is a new leaf in terms of position players. I would say
Definitely.
this year. Do you think the questions? I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit. It's hard to evaluate right now. Do you think the questions about this team and the ability of them being able to hit are valid?
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, I think they are. I think any team where you've got to replace, like I mentioned, that 70% of the just plate appearances from last year, it's a pretty staggering number. It's not uncommon in college baseball, but it is a pretty wide margin, especially when they're going to get a lot of production from guys who transferred in from more mid-major schools, as well as, a couple of the P5 guys they got didn't exactly produce much last year. Granted, some of them are underclassmen. Um, but I think they are valid concerns ultimately. This team isn't going to hit for as many home runs as they have over the past couple of years. There is no Ivar Arquette or Gavin Turley from last year. These guys who were slam dunk players, and you go back 2 years, Travis Bazzana, the number one pick in the draft. That guy just doesn't currently exist on this team. There's a chance one could emerge, maybe one or two guys. But as it stands right now, I think they are fairly legitimate concerns, and something that we'll see once they face live competition next week.
Of the returners, who is your most important returner coming back to this team?
Yeah, like we talked about, I think the lack of maybe power kind of through this lineup 1 through 9 is obviously the biggest area of concern after they just hit so many home runs over the past 2 years. So I looked at Jacob Craig, their first baseman. He's a senior now. He had opportunities to turn pro. He's gained weight. He's changed his swing coming into his senior year. They're expecting a big year. He's a legit 30 home run threat, I would imagine, in the sport. He's 270 pounds right now. He's a massive human being playing first base. For as far as it goes with replacing production or needing to find equivalent production, I think he ends up being one of the most important. But on the leadership aspect, it's AJ Singer. He's the heart and soul of that infield playing second base for them.
It's funny. I was looking back through footage of last year at College World Series, and I just forgot. I forgot how tiny AJ Singer is compared to everybody else. Um,
It doesn't help when you're standing next to a 6'5" shortstop in Arquette,
yes.
but yeah, AJ is a they're generous listing him at I believe it's 5'11".
Yeah. 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 I was like, wow. Like it's just so funny in baseball because not as many sports are like that where, there can be such a dichotomy in height. Um,
Of course.
of your transfers and the position player side, who are you looking for to make an impact there?
Yeah, there's a number. I think of Cooper Vance, who is going to be in the mix on the left side of the infield, whether it's at third base or shortstop. We're not entirely sure yet. Tyler Inge is another guy kind of in a similar role. He's a sophomore coming in from Michigan proper. But the biggest one I'm looking at is Jacob Galloway. He spent 2 years of his career at USC, his underclassmen season, and then for last season was at Texas A&M. Things at A&M didn't go as planned. He only logged 50 at bats for the Aggies. But as a sophomore in 2024 at SC, he was a second team All Pac-12 selection, and that's not for nothing. Last year was an off year for him, but coming in this year, his senior season, especially with how much catcher has been a really important piece of keeping this team together. He's a guy I look at, obviously. We mentioned the down year, but he's only a year and a half removed from an 872 OPS season. So if they can get him back into form and give him those opportunities, he's a guy who could really click.
I said when I sent you the list of questions, or at least some sort of sketch, I said, hey, most important freshman from either position group. But if you have a freshman in both position groups that you think is important, you can shout both of them out there. So just what do you think about this freshman class, and who could also see the field this year?
Yeah, I think the slam dunk answer here is Mason Pike. He's a freshman coming in from Washington, which has been a recruiting hotbed. Obviously, it's where from head coach Mitch Canham is from, is Washington. But he was the Gatorade Player of the Year in baseball in the state of Washington. He's here as a two-way player after passing on the draft. He was the number 68 prospect in the sport in last year's draft, and was picked by the Nationals in the 19th round. He passed to get to campus. He's going to two-way for them this year. He's a right-handed pitcher and then a switch hitter who plays up the middle, primarily at short. It sounds like his appearances are mostly going to come on the bump this year, and I think ultimately he will end up just a pitcher. But they're going to give him the opportunity to do both. It's a lot on his plate, but he's kind of the guy to click. And then a more under the radar one would be Trey Morris. He's a lefty reliever from California, who had a stellar year last year and has gotten rave reviews through the fall so far.
You mentioned the fact that you were able to go watch this team scrimmage. Was there anything that you gleaned from that scrimmage a few days ago?
I mean, like I said, the depth of talent in this bullpen and pitching staff is patently absurd, in my opinion. And I've watched a lot of college baseball over the past 4 years, but I haven't seen stuff like this. Like it's pretty ridiculous. They've got arms everywhere who can contribute. And in my conversations with Rich Dorman, I asked him if he wanted to have a normal closer this year and really find a guy to establish in that role. And he said it'd be nice to, but it's also nice to have four of them. And the staff has 4 or 5 guys who can pitch high level innings for them this year. And we've already touched on the rotation, but when the guy who is getting beat out for a starting role on Sundays for this program could be a Friday starter at a lot of different programs in the country. It says a lot about just the depth of this talent.
You're absolutely right there. Okay. What are your thoughts? Are we making a return trip to Omaha this year, or are we hanging out at home? What are your thoughts on that?
Not to get too ethereal, it's an uphill battle for them. And when you look at the RPI, the strength of schedule, all of these things, it's unprecedented for an independent team to do what they did last year, and it's going to be even harder to do it a second time. Their schedule is loaded with good teams. I think of UC Irvine or Hawaii, two teams that are also going to be contending for entries to regionals. But the simple fact is, they don't play a single Power Five opponent in a weekend series once this year, not on the road, at a neutral site, or at home. They'll get 2 early season tournaments where they'll play one SEC team, Alabama, and one ACC team in Stanford, but both of those are before March even begins. So it's a front-loaded schedule, especially with this new of a lineup. It makes me a little uneasy, but ultimately this team is wired to succeed in Omaha. We think back to last year's run. The pitching was there for the most part. They blew up there in that final game, but they're deeper this year. And you think about why they didn't succeed offensively there. They were, you know, really leaned on the home run, and with those deeper fences, had trouble putting them out of the park there. This team, hitting for more contact, they're going to steal more bases. They're probably going to walk more too. That's been the big emphasis. So they're constructed to win in Omaha. How far what it's going to take for them to get there is kind of the thought. But they were there last year. Who's to say they can't do it again?
Isaac, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your thoughts on the Beavers. I think we're all excited to see how things go this year for this team. Coming up after the break, I will have actually an exclusive sit-down interview with two players we talked about a bit here, Ethan Kleinschmidt and Dax Whitney, as the two pitchers are looking to be the 1-2 punch for this team this season. Welcome back to KOIN Conversations. Now we're going to show you our extended interview with Oregon State pitchers Dax Whitney and Ethan Kleinschmidt. They are preseason All-Americans and are assured to be two of the best players on the West Coast this season.
For you guys, knowing that you're kind of the 1-2 punch for the team this year, what is that like for you guys? Yeah, I mean, it's sweet being able to go out, kind of a similar thing we did last year. We get to go back-to-back days, and I think it's really tough for other teams to have to go back-to-back days against us in like a normal series. So it's comfortable knowing that if I go out and do my thing on Friday or whatever day I pitch, then Ethan's going to go out the next day and do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, same thing, kind of just the opposite way. Watching him go out and carve up the batters the day before me, and then gives me confidence going into the next day knowing that I can do the same thing.
Yeah. I really think of you guys and the fact that you guys have two like kind of wildly different stories to how you guys both got to this place. Just do you guys think about that at all? Like, I mean, obviously he kind of had to come up through the CC ranks. You were like this, this big recruit out of high school. So just, yeah, for both of you, just what is it like looking at the other pitcher and seeing the other pitcher's story?
Yeah, I mean, for Ethan, it's awesome. He's kind of a hometown kid in a way, pretty close. Came from a super small town, small school. Was able to go to JUCO and prove himself there, and then get here, and he just fit right in and didn't miss a stride.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess just what is it like for you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously coming from a small town and everything, it's been different from most people, coming from Portland and whatnot. I mean, his town's not crazy big by any means either, so pretty cool for him too, doing that also. I mean, coming in as a top arm, obviously. So, yeah, it's been good for both of us, kind of coming our different ways, but finding the same place.
Yeah. Just knowing that you have another preseason All-American on staff with you for both of you, just I guess how reassuring is that knowing that you kind of have that?
Yeah, like I said earlier, just having the confidence for, like, if I go out and do my thing, I know we're going to win 2 out of the 3 games, just like that. So we're going to go out and we're both going to go deep into the game and give up not very many runs. So we're always going to give ourselves a chance on the first 2 games of the series. So that's very comforting.
Yeah, same thing pretty much. Just big confidence piece, being able to watch him the day before me or however it shakes out. But yeah, just big confidence booster, being able to watch him do it the day before or whatever, and then giving me the confidence to go do the same thing the next day.
Having that Team USA experience, obviously individually I'm sure was great, but being able to do that together this summer, what was that like as well?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Team USA was freaking the coolest experience I've ever had on a baseball field for sure, and then also just one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life. So just being able to go completely on the other side of the world and go compete and play baseball and be able to do it with one of my best friends and just be by each other's side the whole time, in the dugout together, in the hotel together, like it was just a really special experience.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, just being able to, be on Team USA was just the coolest thing ever, like he said. And then, yeah, being able to do it with him, do it with a teammate. I mean, we live here together, so it just continued our baseball season an extra month. So it was pretty fun to do with him.
I'm pretty sure both of you didn't throw in the fall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like, being able to be by each other in the fall and kind of have that perspective together?
Yeah, I mean, not throwing, we were able to really focus on our own bodies and just being able to push each other in the weight room. That was the biggest piece for us. It was like we'll just try and build our bodies as much as we can and have another step ahead than we did last season, to where we were more focused on the throwing aspect.
Yeah, it was definitely different not competing in the fall, just because last year we were obviously trying to prove our worth and get those roles that we ended up getting. So I mean, it was definitely different on the baseball field side of it, but like you said, just grinding in the weight room, getting as strong as we can for the upcoming season.
I guess, no spot is ever safe, but just how nice was it knowing going into fall, like, okay, I don't have to really prove myself anymore. You can go.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's never set in stone until you see your name on the paper before the game or whatever, but it was definitely a lot easier coming into this season, knowing that I proved myself last year, and then obviously I had a pretty good season. So it was definitely nice knowing that I kind of already had that role. I mean, not set in stone, but already had a good shot to have that role. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, similar to what Ethan said here, just being able to have the comfort, like I proved myself last year. The coaches know what I can do. I don't have to prove anything to them. They know what I'm capable of, and it's for both of us. They know what we can both do. They know our strengths and our weaknesses. So now we're in the point where we can just attack our weaknesses harder and being able to fix those up and tighten those up and be able to for me personally, not making the same mistakes as last year is going to be a huge thing. So just that learning experience, and then like we were saying, just we proved ourselves last year, and we just got to continue to prove that.
Yeah. Ethan, just for you, having a little bit more time and space away from it now, knowing that you have made the impact that you have made in your hometown in particular, what has that been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. During winter break, the past couple of years, me and my brother have done a youth baseball camp, which is fun seeing all the kids come out and excited to play baseball. I mean,
I guess just both knowing that you're going to have to take on, bigger leadership roles this year as well. What does that look like for both of you?
Yeah, I think we're already put in a place where it's kind of easy for us. I know me personally, I like to lead by example, but also make sure that I like to hold people accountable, and I like people to know that they need to hold me accountable as well. So I'm not afraid to be a vocal leader, but obviously this first step is to lead by example. But like I was just saying, I think we're already set in that spot where the new guys coming in, they're all looking to us for advice and for what to do. So leading by example is the biggest thing to do right now.
yeah, I mean, same thing. I'm not a huge vocal guy on the field necessarily, so I'm definitely a lead by example type of guy myself. So it's definitely good. I mean, got a few freshman lefties that I'm kind of helping with pickup moves, for example, or just something simple just to try and pick them up a little bit in that sense. But yeah, it's been good just leading by example in that way.
One of you said that you've never seen a more competitive pitching staff in your life. How does that how do you see that competitiveness come out? How have you seen that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we both touched on it in our interviews, but for example, we've got a guy named Albert Robles. When he gets on the mound, he gets comfortable, takes a breath, and then he puts his glove up right under his eyeballs, and he just stares at the hitter for 2 or 3 seconds, and like you're in the dugout and you feel his presence on the mound. And so that's something I can learn from, and just being able to feel that, like I want to make the hitter feel like that, because I know the hitter's not comfortable when you got that dude staring at you, and then he comes in and throws his nasty stuff right down your throat. So it's pretty intimidating that way, and it's like that through and through. We got a lot of older transfers, experienced transfers, and they know how to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Dorman definitely does a good job just getting us into that competitive mindset. I mean, even like the day after our bullpen, if we're playing catch to 90 feet and like barely flipping it, he's like, what are you going to get out of today? Just like trying to make every little thing a competition. So yeah, I mean, it definitely starts at the top from him, working through the staff, but I feel like all of us just are kind of naturally competitors, and we just kind of pour into each other in that sense and just learn off each other to be even more competitive.
There were so many questions about this program going into last year, just knowing that you guys have not only really been able to uphold that standard as a team, but get your team back to somewhere that hadn't been for 7 years. How does that feel to know that you were able to kind of keep this program on track despite all of the distractions that there were last year?
Yeah, I mean, me and Ethan definitely had a heavy part in that, but we sure didn't do it by ourselves. We had a really special group last year, lots of leaders in all different ways. But having that, like, it's pretty special. I remember right after we won the Super Regional, Dor came up to me. He's like, "You're lucky, you got it your first try," or something like that. So, I mean, it's truly is special, and there's nowhere else that you want to get to. But now this year, it's just adding on to that. So,
Yeah, I mean, every kid's dream growing up is playing in Omaha. So it was definitely a dream come true for the whole team. I mean, the coaches, I think all the coaches have been there. So, yeah, I mean, it was good getting them back. And, yeah, I mean, dream come true for the whole team. And like Dak said, we had a special group last year. I mean, a lot of returners, a lot of older guys, which definitely led by example to win those big games. And, yeah, I mean, it was a special team for sure.
Just being able to send that message to Beaver Nation, hey, we're not going anywhere despite all of these things. We're going to be sticking around and we're going to be doing this. How did that feel to be able to kind of send that message to this fan base after everything they had been through as well?
well, I mean, super comforting just to let them know that the Beavs are still the Beavs. Like the team that they know and believe, like it's still here, and that it starts with the culture that the coaches create. And from now on, I mean, it's the culture's ingrained in me, it's ingrained in Ethan, it's ingrained in all these older guys, and it's just going to continue to filter through all the new guys throughout the years, and it's just never going to leave.
Yeah, I mean, Beaver Nation has been awesome. You know, they're selling out the stadium every game, even midweeks. There's a lot of people here, rain or shine. You know, doesn't matter the weather. They're going to show out. So, I mean, they deserve it as much as we do. It's not just the team that is winning; it's everyone. It's definitely it's nice to have them having our backs, and yeah, I mean, they deserve it just as much as we do.
Like, if there's anything I didn't ask you about that you think is important about your season that I didn't hit on.
I'd say maybe just like asking about the hitting versus the pitching this year, because we're getting so much. The pitchers are getting so much hype. Everybody's like, "Oh, you guys are going to be one of the best pitching staffs in the country," which is absolutely right. But it's also not that they're not talking about our hitting. It's everybody saying, and it's all media, you know that, and it's the hitting's going to struggle. It's all going to be up to the hitting. All right, it's kind of nice that people are saying that, because it automatically puts a chip on our hitters' shoulders, and people just don't know. So like, I mean, we get to see it every single day. Our hitters are grinders. They're scrappy. We're manufacturing runs. Like we might have one of the best pitching staffs in the country, but I think our hitters are the most slept on hitting staff in the country too.
I guess off of that, like, what is it like knowing that you two are, you know, one of the reasons why this is being called one of the best pitching staffs in the country? What is it like knowing that you are a key part in making this one of the best pitching staffs in the country?
It's very promising, but at the end of the day, they're telling us we're one of the best pitching staffs in the country before we've even showed that we are. So we got to go out there and prove them right. And it also, in order to be the best pitching staff in the country, we got to feed our younger guys and our new guys and make them feel comfortable and make them be able to dominate.
There's obviously a lot of hype around both of our names, but we can't pitch 27 innings a weekend, so we can't do it ourselves, and we got to have the relievers and closers and the other starter. It can't just be us two. It's got to be everyone. So our bullpen is nasty. I mean, we have a lot of returners out of there: Hutch, K-Mats, Zach Edwards, Robles, like he was talking about. We got a lot of guys out of the pen that are nasty, and I mean, I think they deserve more credit than they've even gotten. So yeah.
I guess just, Ethan, what is it like for you having so much hype around your name when 3 years ago nobody even knew who you were?
Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of a crazy 3 years. I haven't really looked a lot about it in that aspect of like the whole country knowing about me, but it's definitely, I mean, another step in the right direction for me. I mean, to pursue the MLB, and my dream growing up was to just play professional baseball. So that's obviously pretty cool. I mean, I'm just taking it day by day, just continuing to get better. And like he said, we haven't done anything this year, so we just got to go out there and prove it this year.
Thanks so much for joining us today on KOIN Conversations.